Hi, Samantha. It's good to see you today. Yeah, I know we'd both rather be out playing in this gorgeous sunshine, especially since we've had nothing but rain for what, 10 days? Just been crazy. Samantha, this is going to be some exciting information today, and I'm really happy that you've taken the time to visit with me. But I know your time is limited, and so I'm going to get right to it. I want to introduce myself first. Samantha, I am the president and owner of Edifice Financial Group. I founded my company in 2008. I'm a chartered retirement planning counselor, and I've been in the insurance and financial services industry for about 20 years. Now, I don't work alone. I work with a number of large, significant companies in our country, in fact, internationally, and that's why I'm here today. One company in particular is Federal Financial Group, and they have a 7-step program that we want to talk about today. And what I'm going to do is just highlight 6 of those briefly, and then come back and talk about the step that's the most exciting to me and most exciting to everybody else, and that's talking about becoming financially independent. So, Samantha, first thing we're going to do is just kind of look here at what FFG has helped us with knowing how to win the money game. So, step number 1 is inspect what you expect. Samantha, what that means is you really need to be able to take a look at how your finances are doing, maybe look online, monthly report, but real time online is always a much more efficient and a safer way to track what your money, what your assets are doing. And you need to develop a winning spending plan when you inspect what you expect. Number 2 is to increase cash flow. So typically that just means, I tell you what, what's your definition of cash flow? Right, right. It's the amount of money coming in and the amount of money going out. Now, are you one of those that has more going out than you have coming in, or is it the other way around? All right, well, that's not uncommon. And so, in the area of increasing cash flow, that's also about managing your expenses. Have you ever heard that old saying that it's not what you make, but it's what you keep? That's very, very true. It's much harder to make a dollar than it is to reduce expenses by a dollar. Eliminating debt is the 3rd step. And so, with our national debt and consumer debt at an all-time high, this is such a critical area. So many people have high credit card debt and so on. So one of the areas that we really specialize in is looking to help you consolidate your debt or reduce your debt sooner. Number 4, Samantha, is an emergency plan and fund for that plan. The question is, how do you fund an emergency? So what we define that as is a separate account that's different from your checking or your savings that you may have today. We would recommend that you have that in a totally separate account, and that it be used for emergencies and not the backup plan, hopefully being used on a regular basis, which is credit card and credit card debt and high interest. So with that said, number 5 is protect what you have. Samantha, we're really familiar with this concept in America. It is to insure our cars, our homes, health insurance, the list just goes on, is to protect our assets. So that's a concept that we're all very familiar with, and also is extremely important when you talk about the money game and saving for a long-term plan is to protect the assets that you have. The last one that I'll mention is right here at step 7, estate planning. And I'm not going to spend any time there, because if we find that you need estate planning or would need that at a future point, we'll be happy to cover it. I love doing estate planning. So Samantha, what I'd like to do is now get back to the step that I told you is the best. This is the one everybody can get excited about and talk about because it involves you and your long-term thinking, financial independence, and what would you do with your time, that kind of thing. And what would you do, Samantha, if you were able to, just be financially independent? Are there things that you know that you'd want to do right now? Um, uh, Travel's always a first choice of a lot of people, and I too love to travel. It's a wonderful thing to be able to just get on a plane or a cruise ship and go somewhere new and have an adventure or several adventures and just learn new things and from people. So that I love that too. Is there anything else you would do rather than travel? Spend more time with your grandkids. Yeah, that's always at the top of my list as well. Well, great. Let me get started, Samantha, and let you know that what we're going to do is talk about how to win at the money game. And it takes two things in particular. And Samantha, if you'll listen to me, this could change the quality of your life for the better. Okay? And in doing that, there are two battles that you have to overcome: the battle of taxes and the battle of inflation. Now, again, pointing to that old saying, it's not what you make, it's what you keep. And do you know, like I do, that taxes are not only very high today, but very, very likely to get higher. And so those two elements are at play when we talk about winning at the money game. Now, Samantha, if I may be very strong with you at this time, if you don't get control over these two areas of inflation and taxes, it is highly unlikely that you can become financially independent. And that's a problem. We want to live our lives in such a way that we can plan and look forward to those dreams and goals coming true. So with that said, let's talk about inflation. Have you ever heard of the rule of 72? Okay, that's no problem. Most people have not. The rule of 72 is how fast your money will double. And if you're making 4%, for example, we would divide 72 by 4, and that's 18 years. Your money would double in 18 years. So Samantha, I want to show you here that the rule of 72 would look a little like this. Right now today, if we had $100 in 18 years, that would double to 200. Now, does that get you excited? I didn't think so. But if you wait 18 more years, it's going to double again. Does that get you excited? It went from 100 to 400. Probably not too terribly much. And one of the reasons is, do you think that $400 36 years from now will buy what $100 buys today? No, it won't. And that's what's called inflation. So Samantha, I'd like to ask you, if people are saving today, where are they saving? Have you seen the CD rates in the last 2 or 3 years? They're terrible. We've got banks, credit unions, fixed accounts, and from all that I've seen, please tell me if I'm wrong, getting 2% today, if you're willing to commit your money for even 5 years, is almost unheard of. So do you see what's happening? Inflation is higher than those kinds of returns, and therefore money is growing, but inflation is growing quicker and losing its purchasing power. And so that's a big problem. Does that make sense, how that would be a problem? If cost of living is growing at 3.5%, which it has historically for decades now, and your money, if it's earning anything, is earning less than 2%, you're going backwards. All right, so the solution is to help people obtain a better rate. So what I'm going to do is show you this chart here. And I'm going to just cover over a portion of it so that we can take a look at this. And let's take a look at this fella here who is age 29. He's earning 4%, so we already said that that would double in 18 years. So at age 47, he will have $20,000. And it will double again when he is 65, and it'll be 40,000. So Samantha, let me ask you, if this were you, and you're 65 and the house is paid for, the kids are gone, how long would $40,000 last you? Would it be enough to travel and spend more time with the grandkids? No, it won't. I agree with you. This is where people really need to understand and pay some attention to their to the money game, because 40,000 at age 65 and wanting to travel and spend more time, less working, less having to think about earning a living is important to us. And so we've got to win at the money game. I'm going to keep showing you how we do that. So let's take a look at the next example. Let's say we could get a higher interest rate. This time we get 6%. That means the money will double in 12 years. So at 29, it's 10,000. At 65, that grows to $80,000. Little better, little better. All right, let's look at 8%. If at that calculation, we know that at age 65, that becomes $160,000. That's a whole lot better, isn't it? Much better, I agree. That would allow you to supplement, Social Security or a pension or other assets that may be coming in, part-time job. It just depends. So let's look at 12% and what kind of difference that makes. And this is going to kind of blow you away because it's pretty outstanding, and this is where it gets exciting to think about your money and what is a potential for it when you look at that over a number of years. So 12% interest rate. Again, we start with 10,000, and in 36 at age 65, this becomes $640,000. Wow. Is that amazing? That's a huge difference. So when we look at these two examples, we see that, let's say this guy over here, again, same number of years, same amount of money, interest rate 4%, and he's got 40,000 to retire with. Over here, you're the smart one. You've got same amount of money, same number of years, but you got a 12% return. And so your retirement is $640,000. So tell me which one of those you would rather have.